MK, and I am here with another layout for Mixed Media Mayhem, and I am combining this with 31 Days of Cut Files. This is our inspiration piece picked out by Rebecca, and it is from Missy Whitten for the Shimmers Paints team. So the cut file that I will be using today are a bunch of tickets. I was super excited to use this cut file because one of the things that some people don't understand about cut files, or don't realize, I should say, I'm sorry if I misspoke, is that cut files come in all shapes and sizes, and they are perfect to use as little tuck-ins for embellishments. All right, from Felicity Jane, I have this cute little set that was gifted to me by Joni. Thank you, Joni. And then also from Felicity Jane, I have this chipboard set right here that was gifted to me along with these 6x6 papers by Cindy. Thank you, Cindy. I appreciate that. They were little table gifts at a retreat that we went to. So glad to be using those up, and proof that I did use them. You guys, proof. Okay. I also have a menagerie of stuff from all over Creative Memories, Chamel, Punched Stars, gosh knows who. I don't know. From Shimmers, I have Inklings in Coral Reef, Creamies in Dandelion, and Creamies in Pining for You. I've already got them wet. Also from Shimmers, I have Vibes, Wild Spruce Chase. I have this Distress Mica Stain, but I won't be using it. And I also have this Distress Mica Spray in Tarnished Brass that I think I just used for sprinkles. I think that's it. All right, throwing my stuff around. And last but not least, I will be working on a Basil marshmallow cardstock. So I've only got about 2 more sheets of this left. Then I think I'm just going to have to figure something else out. All right, so I'm going to quickly paint off on the side to see if the colors that I picked out, I should have done this beforehand, but who knows. I'm going to paint off to the side to see if the colors match my Felicity Jane papers that I picked out. They're good enough for me, so I'm going to keep going. Plus, they're going to be a little different when they dry. I need a new towel in my spray box, and I'm going to go ahead and spray my tickets with Wild Spruce Chase. Now, my thought process here was that I was going to spray with the green and then to add some shimmer. Haha, it takes me a minute, you guys. To add some shimmer, I was going to spray in the Tarnished Brass mica spray. Then when they started drying, I realized they are already sparkly because that's what Shimmers does. Now, if this was a colorings, I would have been able to do that. But since this is a Vibes comes with a sparkle in it. And I did not need to add any more to it. I don't know what I was thinking, but that was my thought process in why I brought the Tarnished Brass into my arsenal at the moment. All right, so I'm just going through all of my papers to see which ones I like layered up. 3 is pretty much my max when it comes to layering, unless I am trying to fill some gaps and I just want to put a little bit on the side, as in like it's a tab or something. Then I add a little bit more, but when it comes to full-size layers, 3 is my limit. So I'm going to go ahead and use this gorgeous yellow because I have been dying to use this yellow. I'm going to trim my photos down just a little bit so that way I can use one 6x6 for both of my photos, because I did not take that into consideration when I was planning them out, and I cut them exactly at 3x4. So I just trimmed them up just a little bit, and then I'm going to rip the bottoms just to give it a little bit more interest. Plus, I think that's what Missy Whitten did on hers, is she ripped the bottoms of all of her layers. I don't know if I do that to all of my layers, but I do know that I do that to at least 2 layers. I believe, yes. I think the middle layer I left because it was just one of those things that I didn't feel like it was going to be seen. That's what it was. Plus, I didn't want them to be too long and just look out of proportion. I almost debated whether or not I wanted to have them ripped in all different angles, or, one at the top, one at the bottom, blah, blah, blah. And that I did not do. Oh, I do rip it. I just rip it so far that you can't see the bottom. That's what it is. I'm so lazy. And I am trying to mismatch, so I don't want all the layers going in the exact same direction, except for, of course, the first layer that frames my photo. So I really do like this this floral paper. I kind of wish it was in a 12x12, but it's okay. I am a-okay with that. I'm adding this stripe because it has that big, well, not big, but it has that orange, or It's a yellow, you guys. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. But I really wanted that yellow to be a little bit more out there for everything. So because I don't get my yellow that I wanted, I do end up painting a lot more yellow than I planned. And also too, I realize because I'm using so many more photos than what Missy uses, that I don't have a whole lot to paint when it comes to the background. So that's just me. And when I go and put all of my papers at an angle, it does help that they are still the same size, because I just want them to be peeking out, and I don't want the photo any bigger, because then I definitely would not have had any room for mixed media. So final layer for the papers. I'm so glad to be using that 6x6 pad up. Cindy, thank you for the pad once again. And I used it. Yay. So what I had in mind for this layout to begin with, I had no idea, to be honest. I thought that all of the embellishments in a pile looked really good, but then when I started putting everything down, once I get my painting down, it doesn't really look all that good. So tracing around my photos, because I don't like to I don't like to paint all over the place. It just seems to me like I paint too close, and then I have to turn around and paint after the whole work is done, if that makes any sense. So I always trace out where my photos are going to go, and I paint around those photos, because if I started in the middle and tried to work my way out and guess and keep bringing my photos in and in and in and in, I just honestly feel like it's a waste of effort for me personally, but I feel like it's never enough. It's not out far enough of my photos. So I'm going to go ahead and try to build foundations for where I want my clusters to go. So I'm going to have clusters on either side of my photo to kind of make it look like it goes through both sides, but I don't think I end up actually doing that. I think I end up doing a cluster on the side, a cluster, well, actually, no, at the two bottoms. I think that's where I end up making them, is filling in the gaps. So yeah. When it came down to it, Missy added some dark blue in with her pinks and purples, and I was going to add in my green, but then when I got around to it, one, I didn't have the room, and two, I didn't know how I was going to incorporate that green without it looking like a sore thumb, basically, without it being really stuck out there. So I decided to add my tarnished brass. That's what I'm sprinkling on right now. I'm going to give that a heat set, and then I'm going to add my green in really big splatters. So I took my big brush and I am just going to town with those splatters, and then I want some little splatters, and I really like that addition of the contrast rather than me trying to figure out where to paint a big blob of green, because the yellow and the peach or the coral blended in really, really well. All right, next I am going to go ahead and rip my my tickets. I almost called them tabs. I'm going to go ahead and rip my tickets so that way I've got them in where I thought I was going to do 3 clusters. So that's what I'm going to do here. And then I'm just going to use my photos to hold them down. That way they still curl up at the end. I didn't want to glue them all the way down because I want to be able to tuck and weave items in and around them instead of having them all glued straight down to my page and then there's nothing to work with. So I did leave them all kind of flapping away in the wind. I thought I was going to use travel is an adventure, is always a good idea. I was going to use that as my title. Then I realized it was just too blue. Could I have painted it? Absolutely, I should have, now that I'm thinking about it, because I really do like where it is. It's not on my photo like Missy's is, but I do like where, it's kind of in the general area of where Missy's photo was. I do have a wax seal. I went ahead and cut off the blob that, when you push the stamp of the seal down and it creates that hump around the image. I went ahead and trimmed that off. So I just had the wax image. I felt like it took it away. I don't end up using that either. The Oh Snap ends up being too bright of a red. And then when I open up this Felicity Jane pack, it ends up being the wrong peach. It's just a little bit too bright for what I was looking for. So when I opened up this chipboard piece or pieces, I do end up using almost every single one of those pieces. And then, of course, the packaging becomes like a holding place for all the items that aren't going to work on this layout. I tried to use that Chamel chipboard piece, and again, the blue is too wrong. The yellow worked out really good. So I definitely have that going on. Sorry about that. It's never-ending interruptions in this house, I swear. So I do end up just putting most of the stuff that I picked out and thought would look really, really cute on that little packaging and putting it away. I really wanted to use that Adventure Ahead flare that Scrap and Happy Studios has. However, I liked the sayings where it says together, where I'm with you, family, and then the other one says, oh golly, I can't remember what that little pink one says. But they just ended up working out really well. These little fussy cut out baubles, they are from it's not Minte, P13 collection from a million years ago, a couple years ago at least, that I just had left over because they really didn't match the blue that was in the rest of the collection. And I decided not to use the hearts because I really wanted to scatter these stars around. I just really liked that idea. And then I decided not to add any arrows because of the fact that the arrows were brought in because of that Chamel piece having an arrow wrapped around the sign. And so I decided, nope, that's not going to work either. So what little elements that I did end up using, I really, really love. And then I didn't realize that my gap in the middle was shown pretty bad. So I went ahead and I just put a blob in the center and covered it up so it wasn't a big white spot. And that is it. So I really like the scattering of stars. I like my tuck-in tickets. Oh, it says my happy place is my family. So yes, it is. That orange ticket is a little too dark, but if you look at some of the places where I've blended in the ink, it has that orange in there. So it kind of works. So I think I cheated completely and not even bothered to mimic what Missy did. But the idea came from Missy by putting my cut files behind all of my photos. So I think it's a win either way, but I did have fun. I love painting up a background behind all of my photos. I really do. So anyways, I've got 4 links down below for you guys, 2 for the Mixed Media Mayhem. One is the Facebook group and one is the album Straight 4. All of the inspiration inspired by Missy's layout. And then the 2 links for 31 days of cut files. One is the playlist for here on YouTube, and the other one is for our Facebook group if you guys want to come and join us and see how we are using cut files. Now, some of us are using all the exact same cut files. Some of us are using cut files we've had in our stash for a while, which is awesome. That's the whole point of this whole month, is to use the cut files. And also too, if you're new to cut files, learn how to use them. Figure out what are they for? How do I add them to the layout? And everybody has been doing an amazing job. Even if I haven't been able to comment on every single one, I apologize, but it is just fabulous how much we've accomplished this month. It is great, you guys. I love it. Also, don't forget to check out Janet's channel. She is also playing along with Mixed Media Mayhem, but she's been playing along all month long with 31 days as well. So I'm super stoked about that. And her link is the @ down below if you want to go check out her channel directly instead of trying to figure out where she's at by typing in Mixed Media Mayhem or 31 days of cut files. Actually, if you type in 31 days of cut files, I am impressed with all the videos that pop up. It is fabulous. It makes my heart happy. All right, you guys, thanks again for hanging out with me today. I truly appreciate it, and I will check y'all later. Bye.